Ernest. I'm an instructor for the GMAT with the Princeton Review, and this is a video on 5 tips to prepare for the GMAT. So first, build stamina as you study. Unfortunately, most people taking the GMAT are working full-time and end up studying, a little bit here, a little bit there when their schedule permits. But as much as you can, you do want to try to get used to the physical experience of sitting and focusing on GMAT materials for several hours in a row. So if you can study for as long as the different sections of the test and not check your phone or go to the bathroom in between, that's great. If you can, at least on weekends, try and get used to studying for the same number of hours as the test is. That can also be helpful, so that by test day, it doesn't feel like such a challenge to sit and look at the computer screen for that long. You're really used to studying and thinking about GMAT materials for that amount of uninterrupted time. Secondly, do computer-based practice. By that I mean, there's a lot of great books out there that you can study from, and books can be an incredibly helpful tool as you prepare for the GMAT. But the physical experience of the test is very different from the physical experience of studying out of a book. You can't, for example, write right on top of the geometry figures, and you can't sit, sort of hunched over your pages. So you definitely want to be doing computerized adaptive tests as opposed to paper or pen ones that don't really replicate the test experience. You also want to make sure that you're doing as much computer-based practice as you can. And if you are going to use a book, what I would recommend doing is trying to replicate the physical experience of the test. So you can get a book stand, prop your book up, and then have a separate notebook for your scratch paper, so that you're practicing setting up your scratch paper the way you will on test day, and not getting used to, let's say, highlighting passages or things that you won't actually be able to do. Third, this is a big one. Even though it might be tempting, don't try to cram. Standardized tests are very different from the tests you might have done in university, and I say this as someone who crammed for almost every test I took in university. It doesn't work on the GMAT, because improving on the GMAT and success on the GMAT is, for most of us, going to require breaking down our old habits and building new ones. And that's something that necessarily takes a lot of time and takes a lot of repetition. So you want to budget yourself the time to build those new habits, and you can't do that, the weekend before your test or in a couple of nights. Also, there's a lot of memorization that is required for the test. You need to remember things that you haven't thought about in years, like geometry formulas, rules for exponents, times tables, grammar rules, different verb tenses. So all of that takes time to memorize, and you don't want to be trying to, learn it all in the lead up to your test. You want to do it gradually over a longer period. Practice tests, you want to take them early and often. By early, I mean a practice test is a really, really good first step. If you're just starting your studying, that's the thing I would recommend doing to start. And there's a free one available at our website, princetonreview.com, that's just like the real thing, scored exactly the same way. Taking a practice test at the beginning, first of all, helps you understand the structure of the test, the type of questions, what you're actually working towards, and also gives you a good sense of how much work you have to do, because you can look at your starting score and then your goal for the schools that you're applying to, and that can help you figure out how much prep you're going to need to do, how much time you're going to have to devote to this. If you only need to see a small improvement, maybe you can knock that out in a few weeks. If, on the other hand, you're looking to improve, a couple hundred points, then you might need to start planning the next few months of your life around that studying. So definitely take a practice test early on, and then you've got to do them at regular intervals. It's not enough to just do questions out of a book, because that's not, again, replicating the test experience. And you also want to check in and see how you're progressing, and see how your scores are changing, and usually there will be a gradual improvement over the practice tests. And then last, your attitude on test day. I really think that if you go in on test day feeling negative about the experience and feeling like, man, I really suck at the GMAT, that's going to prove to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you can go in feeling strong, feeling confident, feeling ready, you'll have a much easier time doing what you need to on the test. When we're panicky or anxious or stressed, or if we're feeling like, man, I really hate this test and it's awful, that all takes your focus away from the question that's on the screen in front of you. And, the test experience and the larger emotional aspects of it, those are not something you can really control, but what you can control is the performance that you're going to have on that question on the screen. So rather than fixating on things external to it, you want to just kind of get out of your own way. And in order to be able to do that, I think you need to go in feeling confident, feeling prepared, feeling ready. What that means is that you should do whatever work and preparation is required so that you can go in on test day feeling like you can, take control of the test and really do the best possible job. And if you're interested in different options for test preparation, we have another video on that.